Hello, welcome to our second episode.
I am Istri.
And I'm Suami, and this is Suami Istri Podcast. Today, our topic is going to be Ramadan recap. So we're going to go through the first 20 days of Ramadan. We traveled for the last 10, so that's why we're going to cut it into 2, and we'll talk about our travels on another episode. Inshallah. So we're going to go through about 5 themes on our first 20 days of Ramadan, just to give a recap, rewind, unpack. So we're going to unpack our time this year, Ramadan 2025. So with no further ado, will you lead us into our first topic?
Sure. Yeah. So how was your habits and routines around Ramadans? Anything that worked or didn't work?
So obviously the first habit that was really big change for, I think, us together, I could speak for both of us on this one, was waking up for sahur, which was a little bit earlier than we're used to waking up. But alhamdulillah, we were able to, I think we only missed one day where we slept in a little bit, but the other days we stayed true to it. And honestly, some days we would go to sleep after sahur, but other days I would stay up after sahur, and it actually really gave me a few extra hours where I could get some work done, did some work on side projects like editing videos, things like that. The other habit or routine that we built this year was going to Tarawih, which at our local masjid was really wonderful. And then a routine that we already had that we maintained was weekly meal prep, which we would do on the weekends for the week ahead. And I'll end it with, consistency. Consistency is really important, I found, to making sure that we're getting up on time, going to the masjid. So I have 3 tips to stay consistent. Okay, so first is celebrate small wins to build momentum. So celebrate waking up, or celebrate something that, not a big thing, but just keep yourself going, keep yourself motivated. Second tip, if you can, get an accountability buddy, which I have in my Istri here, who's my personal accountability buddy, someone to help you kind of stay focused, say semangat. The last one is, I stole this one from the industry in my work, my business. It's called the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. So don't make, your goals too extravagant. Just make it simple, something that's attainable, and like little steps towards your ultimate goal.
Why do you call it stupid?
I think it's just an industry thing. So keep it simple, like stupid as in
lingo.
Easily understood, not like complex. So okay. It's I don't know why stupid. I need to look it up.
Okay. Sure.
How about you? What can you tell me about your habits and routines in Ramadan?
There are 2 things that work out for me and 1 thing that didn't work out for me. So 2 things that worked for me was came to masjid. Actually helped me to force myself, reading Quran. Even though I was on my period, I just read the translation, and it helped me a lot to engage with Quran, because that's what we encourage to, during Ramadan, to engage as much as you can with the Quran. So, and yeah, because I only live with him, so like when he had to go to masjid, I just need, also come with him, and so and waiting for him till like Tarawih ends. Because what do I gonna do if I were home? I would just scroll mindlessly on Instagram or YouTube, I guess, because I don't have TikTok. But alhamdulillah, he motivated me to come to masjid as well, so it worked really well. And then the second thing is I didn't engage with other things, like really focus on, like Netflix. It was really, really helpful. We usually watch Netflix, during dinner or like during mostly dinner time. And this month in Ramadan, we didn't have, we didn't open any Netflix episode or like shows. So we forced ourselves to just check YouTube on like podcasts or like Ramadan series and sometimes news. And and one thing that didn't work out well for me was sleeping after sahur, which is for him, he could wake up easily. Like if he said, I'm going to sleep for 30 minutes, he would sleep like 30 minutes. But for me, I would like say 30 minutes, but I end up like sleeping for an hour. And thankfully I could work from home, so I was just like, woke up and go to my office and do my work. But I didn't feel really good actually if I go to sleep after Fajr or like after Sahur. So
Next, I think we'll talk a little bit about moments that mattered. So in speaking about moments that matters, like what are some times that really stuck out to you in your head that you felt really connected and really like motivated, or big or small, that really just had an impact on you?
So I was surprised. So I heard this that if you actually read Quran in different times, you might have like different interpretations or like not interpretation but understanding about the Quran itself. And I tried that during Ramadan, and I used the Clear Quran, the English version, which is something that I never really like engaged with growing up. I just read the translation in Bahasa Indonesia, and I know like a couple translations of Quran in English quite confusing, but I found the Clear Quran was very, very mind-blowing to me because it's easy to understand, and plus I actually experienced that I forgot who says this, maybe when we went to Mecca Center, I forgot, but like someone said that if you actually, no matter how many times you read the Quran, you will have different experience or understanding about the Quran. So like I read the Quran, and yes, that was true. I kind of like, how could I miss this like verses? It was just like in Al-Baqarah or Al-Imran, I forgot, mashallah. I had different understanding about those verses when I read that in Bahasa. And reading the Quran or like any books at that time, like during Ramadan, 30 minutes or 15 minutes before sleep, and putting away my phone outside the room really helped me to just, be intentional that I want to read. I know like sometimes we don't have, enough time during the day, or didn't make time, I guess, during the day to read the Quran. So that's when the time that I ponder and try to engage with Quran.
Okay. Wonderful. So for me, speaking to moments that mattered in Ramadan, I would say Qiyamul Layl was really wonderful. Every year, I like really wonderful experience. So for the first 20 days, Qiyamul Layl, standing in the night, was the Taraweeh. So we have a small community. We had brought in a Hafiz from a local city, like a neighboring city. And I just felt so connected going to Taraweeh nights. Sometimes there was a good amount of people. Sometimes there was less than 20. But really just being there for mainly connection to Allah. So one moment in particular from Taraweeh that I want to speak about, which is a moment that really mattered to me, that really had a big impact on me, was one night I had eaten too much at iftar and drank a lot of water really quickly. So I was like throughout Taraweeh kind of feeling a little bloated. I even like ended up with like a headache, and I just was not feeling really good at all. So it was, and also my legs were pretty tired. So it was maybe 15, 16, 17 night. So later on, standing a while, it was around the 7th rakat where I really started feeling like the headache was hitting me. My stomach was kind of feeling unwell. My legs were tired. And I was before I had made the intention to stay for the whole night, like driving there, but I was like really ready to give up after the next rakat. So it was the 7th rakat. We had one more till 8. And how they did it at our masjid, they would do 8 rakat, and then they'll stop and do like some tafsir, some commentary, commentary on what they had just read, which is really, really awesome. I really appreciated that. But anyway, I was feeling unwell, and when I went into sujood for like towards the end of my prayer, I actually made dua to Allah. To Allah, I want to stay 20. I want to stay the full rakat tonight. Please make me feel better so that I can, stay. I was really ready to go. I said, in my mind, if I didn't feel better, I would probably leave after the next one. Alhamdulillah, once I got up, everything was clear. I was no more stomach. I felt rejuvenated. My legs were fine. I felt like wonderful right away. Basically, right when I stepped up, the headache went away. So those little, for me, it's like a little proof. And I've had many in my past where it's like eye openers, but little reminders that, we have a connection to Allah. And I'd say that one for this year made a big impact on me.
Sure.
Wow, I think this was really a great Ramadan for us.
Yeah,
and I'm really appreciating recapping it together with you.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people who are watching or listening to our podcast right now also relate to our stories. So if you have anything that you'd like to share in the comment, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, please leave a comment. And also, if you can also like and subscribe, like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That'll really help us to grow our reach and reach new audiences just like you.
Back to the video.
Okay.
To the podcast.
Okay. So then let's talk a bit about media and how we found inspiration. So what sources did you go to this Ramadan to get your information to connect with your deen?
Yeah, so I really like Yakin Institute's Ramadan series about the barzakh, the life after, or the afterlife, and that helped me to feel, such a big relief, because around this time, around Ramadan, like there's so many things going on in Indonesia and in the US. I was just focused on the worldly life and what's gonna happen, to us, etc., like to our family back in Indonesia, or like my friends, here in the US or even in Indonesia. And that reminders from Yakin Institute's, series makes me think and realize that we're not only living for this world, but the life after. So one thing that I also learned from that series is to you can actually continue doing a good deeds on behalf of your family that already passed away. So I was thinking, my grandma, my grandpa must have like something that they did in their life, sharing to others, stuff like that. And actually I could, or my mom could, or any other my family members could continue their quote-unquote legacy on doing those kind of good deeds. So I informed my moms about that, and she said, oh yeah, actually she didn't know. And I guess we just never stop learning.
Alhamdulillah. So for me, some media that I turned to where I found inspiration aside from Quran, I would also reference that Yakin Institute podcast or YouTube series that we would watch together. Another YouTube series we watched that really touched me was the series from Numan Ali Khan, where he reviewed the meaning of some of the words within the Quran. So I really liked diving into the meaning behind a lot of these words. And it's really enlightening to see that like the true meaning of the Arabic is so much more complex and so much broader than you could ever even translate to in English. So just understanding that like the translation we're reading is just can give you just a small portion of what is really meant, especially like from Allah. Like I hope one day, inshallah, to really understand the Arabic portion. But that series definitely cemented and strengthened my understanding of how, advanced the true Arabic meaning can be. So that was really strong for me. I also have been taking an online class for new Muslims through the New Muslim Circle. And that's been also really insightful for me, and not only teaching me new things, but also building upon knowledge I already had. So that's been great. And then just allowing me to connect with other converts in the community. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about your mindset and like some wellness throughout Ramadan. What was your mindset like?
Honestly, I haven't really think through about this theme particularly, because I felt like I was all over the place. But emotionally, I felt such a peace inside my heart, because like with so many things going on, when we're fasting, we don't have anything to eat, and we don't feel like you are having that much energy to respond or be angry to things that are going on around me or ourselves. So that kind of helpful in a way to just calm myself, to not really reactive towards this bad news that happening around us. And yeah, I guess that was helpful in a way that suppress out my emotion. Well, even though in general, do you think I'm emotional? Like,
No.
yeah, but I think that was just like, okay, I'll prefer to not like, I don't know. I was just like, yeah.
Yeah, my
Things
Istri is
happen.
very calm, collected. I love her.
Oh,
So
I love you.
impressed, always constantly impressed by this wonderful lady.
Oh, mashallah.
My emotions, mentally, I was very enthusiastic, very encouraged, very semangat for this Ramadan. It was my second Ramadan, and I feel like I've gained so much knowledge from the last one. The year before, I was still really new. I only knew like one surah beyond like the base prayer. So I had memorized the whole prayer, but I was still learning some surah. This year, alhamdulillah, in that time, I was able to memorize 7 surah. So I felt like more adept at being the imam to my Istri, the leader of the prayer in the house. And then recently this year, I was also encouraged to start learning to read the Quran, which has been a gradual process. I haven't been able to become fluent in time for this Ramadan, but alhamdulillah, I'm able to read some sentences here and there and very slowly get through it. So inshallah, next year I'll be able to, go through in the Arabic.
Man, yeah, but I think you're such a fast learner to me. Like, I mean, I don't know. If I were you, maybe I took like years to read Arabic, but it takes so quickly. Alhamdulillah.
Everyone has their own path, and
But
pray Allah makes it easy for everyone to learn and grow. Okay, now on to our final topic. So our final one is our discussing people and connections within the communities. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the connections you made this Ramadan?
Yeah, so I was really glad that we went for volunteering at the community masjids iftar events. Iftar community iftar. Yeah. In our local masjid as Masjid Ibrahim, and I had the opportunity, to connect to the ladies, to the sisters around in this community, because I'm kind of new. We're new here, we're just here for 7 months. So they were here for like 15 years and something like that. So I'm glad we had a chance to talk, and because you're kind of like active, go to masjid, connected with the imam. I rarely met them, so. Yeah, it was nice having some connection, and we also
hosted.
an iftar for other Indonesians who live here, but there's only like a few Indonesians here, like less than 10 people. So it was nice, knowing other Indonesian diaspora who have been live here for, of course, longer than us. But
sometimes my Istri, she misses speaking in Bahasa Indonesia.
no,
And she has to speak English with me.
right? Yeah.
Inshallah, I'll learn one day speak Bahasa, but
Ayo,
still.
belajar bahasa Indonesia.
Yeah, mau belajar.
Okay.
But it's great
Not
to so she
all the time.
belajar.
Okay.
It's great that she can have the Indonesian connection. Okay. So for me, I felt really connected to the community this year. So during Ramadan, going to the masjid for Tarawih, we are in a really small town, which means we have a really small masjid, which was actually, like you had said, Masjid Ibrahim was just finished construction a week before Ramadan, had the grand opening, and alhamdulillah, it was brand new masjid for Ramadan. With that small of a masjid, small of community, it's easy to make...
The masjid not that small.
Well, masjid's not that small, but the community, it's small town.
Yeah.
Center of the Midwest, not a big city. So it's easy to make like close connections. I'm able, like you had mentioned, I'm even able to directly text with the imam, which has been nice. I ask him questions all Ramadan. He sent me a guide to itikaf. He's answering my question here, there. And alhamdulillah, he sent me daily reminders and inspiration to keep me motivated throughout all of Ramadan and even through Shawwal. Like we mentioned a couple times, going to Tarawih was very powerful for me to get connected to the community. And then you had mentioned also 2 community events. So there were community iftar. We were only in town for 2 of them. The first one we just attended as guests, and then the second one we actually volunteered for. And I felt like that volunteering event really was a great experience for me, helped me get even more connected to the brothers there. And alhamdulillah, I feel like that was a wonderful idea on our part. Any final takeaways for your Ramadan recap today?
Inshallah, we'll do better next Ramadan if Allah gives us the chance to meet the next Ramadan. But we have Shawwal, so I hope that we can fulfill the Shawwal fasting, inshallah. And yeah, what about you?
My takeaway is what all the imams are saying right now. Just because Ramadan's over doesn't mean we should stop focusing and learning and growing on the deen. So inshallah, we can all grow together, learn together, build and be better versions of ourselves for the next Ramadan, inshallah. That's a wrap for today's episode.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening and engaging with our podcast.
Please stay tuned for future episodes where we'll continue discussions similar to the one today. And we look forward to the next one. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.